Hi guys, Blake here today, Lilley's Landing Resort in Marina. It is the 25th? Yeah, it is the 25th, Wednesday. And I'm going to do the woodcast for you today. I have with me a 1/25 ounce sculpin jig, and that is on 2-pound leader with the 3-pound nano braid. This is one of my custom jigging rods that a buddy of mine built for me. And this is the President Supreme Fluger, which is the next model up from the President. It's a little bit windier than I want it to be right now, but they are in fact running that one unit. We're starting right here across from Fall Creek. It's been a while since I fished this stretch with a jig. We're going to see what happens today. I can tell you I do not like the wind right now. I might, and I did bring some with me just in case, but I might have to step it up to a 16th ounce here. The only fishing report I have from today was Captain Steve Dickey. He said the bait fishing below Fall Creek this morning with power worms and with night crawlers and power bait was really bad. And he said, surprisingly enough, they had a decent bite in the trophy area using megaworms. But they had to abandon their bait fishing to go somewhere else. There's a fish. Nothing on the first cast, but there's a fish. Whoa. Oh, I guess we don't get to see that one. I'm trying to cheat a little bit here without changing the size of my jig. I'm casting upstream and letting the current push that jig a little bit deeper. My trip yesterday afternoon went well. We drug the size 16 scuds in the narrows, crystal gray and UV gray, and the fish were biting that just fine. And then we switched over to jigging, and the jig fishing was pretty good. I'm going to turn the nose of the boat downstream. That was another way to cheat the wind here. What's happening is with this light jig, I like throwing the 1/25 ounce in the 1 unit of water, but if you get any wind whatsoever, you've got to find a few ways to get around it, or you've got to upsize your jig. So I'm going to point the nose downstream because the wind is blowing upstream. I'm going to move the boat just a little bit quicker to keep up with the current so that the wind is not slowing me down. That will also help keep the jig sinking and not swinging past the boat and getting picked up off the bottom. Yesterday we did wind up upsizing the jigs to the 16th ounce, but we threw all sculpin and peach, or sculpin and ginger and black, and they seem to be biting all three colors yesterday. Looks like they've maybe slowed the water down just a touch. There's about 6 to 8 inches of drop over there on the bank, which is the same thing they did yesterday, so not too surprising. So it's about probably 8 feet to where I'm casting, and this jig's probably sinking a little bit slower than a foot a second in that one current of water. So I'm waiting 9 or 10 seconds before I start my retrieve here. If we don't get a bite here in this stretch, we might drop down below to the boat ramp and start there. Looks like I'm drifted up on these guys a little quicker than they're moving, so I might just get the trolling motor going and get around them. There's quite a few boats in this little spot right here. Either all the fish are here or they've been caught. How we doing? I'm in the middle of doing it right now.
Are you?
Yep.
Awesome. I watched that one. What is it called? Isn't it like one toss or something?
One cast.
Yeah.
Lilley's one cast. Yep, I'm in the middle of filming right now. You made the show today.
Awesome. Hey, I watch it every now and then. Awesome.
Appreciate it. I was sneaking up on you guys there. I decided to come around you.
I guess so. Good thing I ain't watching it.
There are fish in this lake. Look at that.
What are we using today?
A 1/25 ounce sculpin head, sculpin feathered marabou jig.
Really?
Yep.
Then I have no idea about it.
Well, I mean, you know what a little marabou crappie jig looks like, right?
Yeah, I think I do, yes.
It's essentially the same thing. We have our own version that we make. It does work, if you know how to work it.
Yeah.
There we go. We do get to see what a fish looks like today. I don't know if I can throw one of these things far enough.
Oh. Nope.
Well, you got to see it for a second.
Sorry, I should have got my net out.
Oh, it's all right.
Probably would have fell through that anyway.
Probably.
Well, not quite.
Actually, I was close. I was close. I'm going to blame it on the tennis elbow. I just missed that last 2 feet.
You got it farther than I would have. You're still young. When's that going to be on? Is it live? When we do it?
I'm filming it right now, and then I'll take it back and upload it to the computer and stick it online, and it'll be there in a couple of hours.
Cool. Maybe I'll try to never look at it tonight.
It should be up by this evening sometime.
Cool.
Anyway, the 1 unit of water is typically my favorite water for doing this lightweight jigging. They seem to eat it pretty well most days. It was really good from, the bite was really good on the jig from 6 to 7 last night, and that was when we ended the trip, but I'm sure it continued to be good after that as the sun was setting. I've got a night trip tonight, so we'll get to find out how good it is going into the dark side. Getting ready to go past the Sasquatch statue here. I'm kind of riding my boat right here on the edge between the flat and the drop off, casting out there into the deeper water. Still probably roughly about 9 foot deep out there. 8 to 9, depending on how far you cast. The wind is now blowing me downstream, or as it started blowing me upstream. Oh, I missed that one. Trying to keep my rod tip as low to the water as possible, keep as much of that line on the water as possible. Keep that wind from affecting the jig. My boat's getting sucked in towards the bluff. We're gonna move back out here on the shelf. Surprised at how much moss is floating in the water column down here. I started the water at probably 11:15 or 11 this morning. It shouldn't be this dirty unless them dropping the water caused the moss to stir back up. There's one. I'm showing it right now on the video. I've had some trips this week that were a little tough. I said I've had some fishing trips this week that were a little tough. This time of the year especially, this is a tough month to fish in. Oh, the weather's gorgeous, but the oxygen level in the lake isn't. Yeah. Well, as I said, you know, when I'm fishing something I know isn't sinking at a foot a second, it's sinking slower than that, I'm gonna wait. If it's 9 foot deep, I'm gonna wait 10 seconds, so on and so forth. We are coming up on the River Bluff Estates boat ramp. Still trying to get my boat to go where I want it to go. It's not working. But after I let it sink, I give it the little jigging motion, wait about 2 seconds, and then you just keep repeating that. Trying to keep that jig just kind of right above the bottom. Doesn't require a big pop. Well, it's not super hot down here. We're getting a bite every once in a while. Now the wind's coming from my back. Let's just try upsizing the jig to a 1/16 ounce here. I don't know if you guys can hear these guys on camera. I hope not. So with this one, I know it is for a fact sinking at a foot a second, if not a little faster. So I'm not going to wait quite as long for it to get down there, and I'm going to wait a little bit less time in between my jigging motions here. There's one. Don't mind me, I paid these fish off for the show. Oh, there was one. Missed that one. Maybe I'll come back for it. Oh, there was another one. Well, I think moving to the 16th definitely helped get me down a little closer to the bottom. I think it was just a little too much wind with the other one. I know that water I'm casting into right now is probably in the 11 to 12 foot range, but I'm only waiting about 9 or 10 seconds before I start, because this jig does sink a little faster in one unit. This is the same jig that ideally I would use in 2 units of water, so. That was a miss. Lots of short striking. So something you can do if you are getting short strikes, and I'll go ahead and look at this jig because I didn't really look at it when I tied it on. You can take the end of your jig and I'm going to pinch it, and I'm going to take like half an inch or so off. You just sit here, and you don't want to cut a marabou feather ever. You always want to pull it off naturally. But you can shorten that tail a touch and try to prevent them from getting the tail feathers and actually get the hook. So we'll make that adjustment here and see if it helps the short striking. directly across from what I call the long dock, which is just directly above Short Creek here. There's one. Oh, is that one? No, I don't think so this time. I think that one might be a tree pounder. A tree pounder.
Oh, it is?
Emphasis on the tree.
I got you. That's what I did. Well, that's what I thought it was a stag.
Oh yeah. Well, that's where I'm gonna end the video today, guys.
Plenty of those in the boat.
Do what?
Hope you got plenty of those in the boat.
I do have plenty of the jigs in the boat. The one thing I didn't bring with me, however, was the leader line for my braid, which just broke off. So, end of episode right there. But we thank you guys for watching. Like and share us on Facebook, and we will see you again tomorrow.